Good afternoon, Jan.
Michael, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can. There was a banner on Discord, so making sure that I dismissed that so it didn't show up over here. Yeah, it looks like Discord has changed its layout a little bit because
Oh,
there's a little bit more Chrome showing up in the stream, but yeah, that shouldn't be too hard to fix.
okay. All right. How was your week?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, uh, got a lot of progress done. Um, yeah, I shared the CodeLaunch app with Jason Taylor, who's the head of CodeLaunch. He's the guy that's up there on stage doing all the crazy stuff. Um, and yeah, he's really excited to share it with his team. So on Monday, I'll be doing a full walkthrough end to end with the production team, so that they know how to run it, they know how to how to
Mhm.
handle any issues that might come up, and then of course I'll be there on that evening in Canada to make sure that things go smoothly.
Yeah. No, I saw a lot of commits coming in
Yes, yes.
um, while I was doing other things because I didn't make any progress on DWS this week. Um, but I saw a lot of progress on your side.
Yeah,
So, do we have a preview uh, of what happens on Monday?
we do. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah. So I still haven't gotten used to starting up Zoom before the meeting. Um, that certainly would help things go a bit smoother. So we don't want to use computer audio, and all right, we want to do a share. Okay, so we got the share going, and let's go with the code and the launch. All right, there we go. So yeah, first of all, a quick lap around what the CodeLaunch app looks like. So this is the admin portal. Um, CodeLaunch is a startup uh, support accelerator and hype event that um, yeah, we invite a handful of startups to participate in this program. Um, they get some help with doing their pitches. They get introduced uh, to uh, to investors, and then um, out of the group that is originally brought into the program, 6 are selected to join us on stage on the evening of Code Launch, and these 6
Mm.
get some development time. So 6 teams contribute 48 hours of development to help them with their website, to build the app, you know to make videos, whatever the team needs at that particular point. And this year, all of the teams are going to be from improving. In the past, we've invited other development teams to pitch in as well, but this year we've narrowed things down. We've focused, and it's a small set of improving teams that are helping these folks out.
So, how many people per team for every participant?
Yeah, the teams are about 6 to 8 uh,
Okay.
developers um, and UX designers, and then
Mhm.
each team is allocated one project owner or
Yeah.
scrum master to help make sure that we understand what the value is that the startup needs delivered, and then the team can do the best
Mm.
job to deliver that in just 48 hours. And it's amazing what
But
you can get
that's
done in 48 hours when you strip away everything else and you're just focused on delivering that value. I mean, I
yeah,
wish we
but
could always work that way.
48 hours,
Mm-hmm.
6 people, times 6 projects.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
It is,
that's
yeah.
quite a lot of
It is a big
that's
commitment for
quite a
one
lot of
company.
effort.
That's true, yes.
Yeah, it's quite a big effort.
Yeah, and we've got 3 events this year. So Canada is the first one, and then we'll be in Mexico,
Mm.
and then we'll be in Dallas for the World Championship. And at Dallas, well, no, last year at the Dallas World Championship we had 8. Um, yeah, this year we're going to have 6. The top 2 from Canada, top 2 from Mexico, and then 2 more will be competing at the Dallas event. So um, yeah, that'll be fun to just be at home and
Yeah.
be there with all my friends.
And so all that will be coordinated with the CodeLaunch app, which
Exactly,
is based on Jinaga.
exactly. So yep,
Okay.
Janaga's going to be running the whole thing.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty excited about this. This is a real good showcase of
Mm.
what the framework can do. So what we've got here, and yeah, I will let you scan that QR code in just a little bit. Um, we've got our 6 finalists, so we can just go in here and edit the name and the logo. Um,
Mm.
and so these are the 6 that are going to be taking the stage. And then down here we've got these attendee access codes. These are the QR codes that attendees will scan in order to get access to the the CodeLaunch app, which is called
So the attendees
Launch
are just the
Kings.
people who are following the event.
Yeah, this code will be present at the event. So you show up,
Mm.
you you've got these QR codes printed out on all the different tables.
Mm.
It's going to be flashed on the screen.
So
Um,
if I scan it now,
yep.
what does it do?
If you scan it now, and I'll copy that URL, I'm going to launch a new
Yeah.
incognito window so that it doesn't interfere with my login over here. Um, then you get this mobile application. So fill in a little bit.
Still. Mm.
Is it
Is he
not
still
coming up for
thinking?
you? Let's see. Yeah, I can't quite see with the white screen is kind of blown out.
It's almost all white, except on top it tells me Launch King attendee with the URL. So it seems blocking. Wait, let me try that again.
Yeah. This is why we test.
Wait, I'm gonna skip the link again. He was so fast in detecting that link. Okay. I open the link. No, it doesn't.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm not sure whether you can see it here on top. You have, you can probably not see. Yeah, now you can see it.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the name of the site. Okay. Yeah. Well, I am going to have to make sure I test this completely on Android. That shouldn't make a difference. It's just a web application.
Well, this is a pretty old version of Android.
Mm.
Let me check. Perhaps it's data. It's 8.0. 8.0.
Yeah. Yeah. So it might be stuck on an old version of Chrome that doesn't support some of the features that I'm using.
Yeah. but I do like this telephone so much
Yeah.
that
Okay, I think I can. Yeah, I can run a an emulator, so I can go back to older versions of
mm,
Chrome and or to of Android and see how far back
I,
this can go.
I only have older things here, not newer for the moment. No.
All right. So yeah, I'll walk through it and um, then yeah, I'll definitely go back through older versions and make sure that um, at least identify what it is that's not working with the older versions of Android. If not, get those fixed. So yeah, so the first thing that it does collects your information. So we want to know who's attending, and this kind of connects it with your experience. So now um, if you use the app again, then it'll just get you straight in. So we'll submit that. And let's get ready to launch, and then this screen is going to describe what's going to happen this evening. How are you going to use the app? So we've got those designs. Just gotta get them put in. But what's going to happen is backstage, people will be here at this event dashboard. So you know you'll be milling about. You'll be talking with other attendees um, and going up to the booths and talking with the different startups, the startups that are going to be competing, and other startups that were part of that round that didn't make the evening, but we still invite them to come and present. It's a really fun show. And then Jason takes the stage. Lights go down. Fanfare, and then we start to bring on the guests. And so backstage, they hit this button to open round one. And that, as you saw, immediately updates everybody's phone so that now they are ready to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got uh, our different startups available here. Um, yeah, on a typical sized phone, you're seeing just one of the rounds at a time, and you can flick to different tabs. So this is either gesture with your thumb, just boop boop, or click the tab to go to the next one. But round one, you can see, is active. The final round, not yet active. We don't have the teams allocated. And then the champion, haven't identified the champion yet. So here we are in round one. You've got 50,000 launch bucks. And it's your job as a faux investor. This is, of course, play money. To allocate those 50,000 launch bucks to your favorite of these 6 teams. So they're up there presenting, and you have this ability to vote at any time during the presentation. So you can see that I can go ahead and allocate 10,000 to Seeker Pitch. Let's allocate. Maybe we'll go up to 20,000 for Seeker Pitch. So now I've got 30,000 left. I can go up to 30,000 on one, but I can't spend all 50,000 on just one. So now I can't allocate any more than I have available. So if I allocate 10 to Endora, then I could spend the last 10 to go up to 20 here, or I could spend that 10 on one of the others. So you allocate your lunch bucks, and then meanwhile, backstage, they are looking at the vote allocations, which should be flowing in. So yeah, those definitely got saved. All right. Yeah, so there's another bug that I need to fix by Monday. So yeah, you select your allocations, and then uh, these um, these bars will indicate what are the total allocations received from all of the attendees at the event.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you are um, when you're ready to finish round one, then you say the first round of voting is complete. Um, okay, you know what? I think actually I just haven't deployed since I made this work. That's what's going on. Um, yeah.
Okay.
Ah, there we go. There's a there's an interesting error. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Yep. Definitely some work to do this weekend. Um, so you'll when you say the first round is complete, then the next thing that will happen, not happening right now, is that these will deactivate, and you can't allocate your funds
Yeah.
anymore. So and then meanwhile, um, as all of the facts are flowing in, these bars are settling down, and it's indicating which of the pair of startups has won each of the different head-to-head competitions. And so then there will be a button. There is on on my laptop that says, "Okay, time to lock in your votes." And once they're locked in, then then things go crazy. All right. Once they're locked in, uh, then that lets you that basically picks who uh, the winners are for these three. So the winners of each of the head-to-head competitions goes on to the final round. And then once the final round is open, then you have your um, 50,000 available again, and you get to spend all 50,000 on just one of those three. So just pick which one you want to win. And meanwhile, up on stage, um, those three startups are doing a another 60, no, 30 seconds. Is it 60 seconds or is it? I think it's 30 seconds. Yeah, it's pretty quick. Um, follow-up pitch, and then you you put those in there. They will see a um, another allocation, which is not currently flipping to that just three-way allocation, but you'll see those update on the back end, and then lock those in, and then you'll announce the champion. And so at this point, you'll see the total vote allocations. So which teams earned how many launch bucks. So it'll be really nice because everybody's got 50,000, so you're gonna get millions of launch bucks here, and it's gonna be crazy.
Make sure you don't get an overflow.
Yeah, yeah, it is JavaScript after all.
Mm.
Yeah, so that is the Launch Kings application with some work that definitely needs to be done on the back end there.
Yeah, but I'm sure you will solve that.
Yeah, yeah, that is some kind of OAuth thing happening.
Mm-hmm. But so it's quite nice. So it's actually two web applications.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, two different React apps.
Yeah.
And they're both talking to the same replicator. So anything you do on one appears on the other. And so there are just a few things that you're subscribing to, so that you get those push notifications. So on this side, it's subscribing to changes in the state. So like if we go back to holding, then we should see on this side get ready to launch.
Mhm.
Yeah. So as you change
One
the
direction.
state,
Yeah,
then it
now it's working.
updates there.
And towards the other side, it's the votes coming in.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So those should be filling up there.
And then
So
when
that's the
you close, for example, round one,
mm-hmm.
you have one fact that will have all the votes as a predecessor.
Yes, yeah, that is actually so uh, after you lock in. So once you see
Yeah.
the lock in, you hit that button. That's the one that has all the facts as a predecessor, so that you can you've got that history of this is what happened this evening.
Yeah, because that's a fact with enormous amount of predecessors.
Yes, yes. So that'll be another good test to make sure that Janaga can handle that number of predecessors.
Mhm. You will be testing that
Mm-hmm.
on beforehand, I
Oh
assume.
yes, yes indeed.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, this will not be our usual, hey, let me just try it out for the first time on this machine like we're
Mhm.
doing here. Um, yeah, this will be well tested ahead of time, including doing
Okay.
some load testing. So
Mhm.
I'll, uh, I'll I'll simulate a couple thousand people in an auditorium, all pushing these buttons at the same time, and see all that flow.
The
So
model of that application, is that something you want to show?
yes, indeed. Um, so let's start with this model IPOINB. Um, so I modeled it as per usual in Polyglot notebooks, which means that the
Mhm.
model is in C sharp, which for some reason is not highlighting properly. But uh, but yeah, when um, for the applications, I'd basically just translated from this to TypeScript. But
Mhm.
um, so this model is intended for more than the event itself. This model is intended to grow into the entire CodeLaunch experience. Um, and so we've got our right at the top a CodeLaunch tenant. So all Janaga applications are multi-tenant, and so you create a tenant using a single use principle, and so that's that Janaga user, and then immediately um, uh, allocate your first administrator. And I didn't put administrators on this model, but that's how we're protecting the admin dashboard. So then let's talk about the competitor side of this, because that is where basically the competitor's experience first starts. So they uh, so as we invite new startups to join the program, just from the beginning, then we'll create these competitor facts, and that will be kind of the root predecessor to keep track of name, logo, and then any activities that we want to track in this app in the future. So so as they complete their pitches, then we've got information about the pitch, the feedback, so all of that can be captured within this app, and we can expand the scope of this app beyond the event itself. But then when the event comes along, so now we've got our Canada 2024 or 2025. Goodness, what year is it? Event, and so we create that under the tenant, um, and then we invite 6 of those competitors to be finalists. So that creates that finalist fact.
Okay, but so in this case, the attendant will be the same fact for the 3 different events. One in
Yeah.
Canada, the one in Dallas.
Yes. Yes. So
Yeah,
for
you will just have an other event fact.
right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So from the Canada event, two are going to move forward to the Dallas event, and so we'll have a new event, same competitor for those two, but a new finalist fact, saying now these
Yeah.
have gone on to Dallas. Now on the attendee side, so the first fact up here, CodeLaunch attendee, that is basically if you've scanned a QR code at any of the events, then you are an attendee. And so that's the route by which we capture your uh, your name and your email address, and then you can then because you scanned this particular QR code, we also create this CodeLaunch attendee event fact that says that this attendee attended this event. So if you go to Canada, you scan that QR code, and then you go to Mexico, you scan the next QR code. It's not going to ask for your information again because the attendee cookie is already on your device, and it says, "Oh, it's you. This is the same fact, and now you're an attendee of this other event." So we can keep track of that history as well.
Each time you will have to log in with your email address.
If you go to another event, then you won't have to log in with your email address because it will have a cookie on your device. So, yeah, going to the Launch King's application page, that loads in that cookie and then it says, "Oh, I recognize you." So then this is the point at which we've got the authentication. So to the attendee, this user link is not the same user as this one, just the same type. But yeah, this user is the attendee themselves. So that cookie gets you logged in as this user, and now we know, okay, you're this CodeLaunch attendee.
So if you delete the cookie, you have to log in again.
That's true. Yeah, you delete the cookie, you look like a different attendee.
You will look like a different attendee.
Yes.
It will not retrieve your
No.
your previous information based on your email address?
That's right. We wanted to have that. We wanted to have the login experience be as seamless as possible. We didn't want to have to excuse me, verify emails during the event, so people were scanning their code. We don't want them to have to say, okay, let's check my email and then click the link and enter 6 digits and all that crazy stuff. So we said keep it really simple. You scan the code, you're in. And so the application, just, do you have a cookie? Nope. Let me create one for you. Here it is. And now, is that cookie related to a user? Oh, no. Let me create a user. There it is. Okay. Now you're good to go. Here's the attendee. Here's the attendee event.
And how do you prevent that one of the competitors sends that QR code to a lot of friends at home, the whole family, and they all make on all their phone they make different users, and they vote.
That is something that we've thought about, and we have a solution. And I don't want to give away too much about the solution because then people will be able to work around that solution. But yeah,
but it's foreseen.
Yes. Okay. So now you are an attendee at an event, and so now you can start voting. So So we create different CodeLaunch rounds. So round one and then the final round, or the two rounds. And so for each one, you've got your vote. So we know this vote was for this attendee for this round. So different round, different vote. And each vote has a set of allocations for each finalist. So in the TypeScript version, I actually changed the shape of this part of the graph, but we'll see that when we get there. But
what is this? What is this vote dot allocation?
Yeah. So so this is for this particular finalist. I allocated 20,000 launch bucks, and for that one, I allocated 10,000. So this vote is that collection of allocations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the round is this collection of competitors. So so the first round is going to be all 6, and the second round is going to be subset 3 of those.
Yeah.
So when you receive the round fact on your device, you know which 3 to show in that second card. And then you do your allocations, push the buttons, and it creates these facts. So that is essentially the shape of the graph for this event. Set up a little bit of sample data and tried some things out. So
then,
yeah, trying to see if there's anything interesting here.
Michael,
yes.
In the user interface, so an attendee is, for example, he allocates 10K to one, and then he changes it to 20. So that means that the vote allocation fact should be changed.
Yes, that's handled by creating a new vote.
Okay, so the old vote will be deleted then?
Yes. Okay. And the typical way of doing that would be to have a little self-reference here using the mutable property pattern. But in this case, because people are going to be in the process of just building up their vote, they're going to be changing things a lot. You're going to have a lot of versions of a vote for each attendee. And so for that reason, I decided to instead have a timestamp inside of the vote fact. So now I can just see these are all the votes for the attendee. Just pick the latest one, and that's the current one. I feel safe doing that because it's all coming from one device. So this isn't intended to solve the concurrent edit problem. And that keeps the graph shallow. And having a deep graph is something that I can predict is going to cause some issues because each fact at the tail of that graph is going to have all of its predecessors, all of its ancestors loaded into memory.
Because that means the moment that I I assign the first 10K, for example, to one of the competitors, the application creates an allocation and a vote fact, the 2 facts.
Yes.
Then I create, for example, I assign 20K to the second competitor. He will create a second allocation fact, and he will make a new vote fact, which points to the 2 existing allocation facts.
Yes, it will.
And we continue that way until we have a vote fact which points to, at most 5 allocation facts, because then So 50,000 is allocated.
Yep. That is true.
Yeah, because we don't want a vote button. Because if the dashboard is changed before you click on the vote button, then your whole vote will be gone.
Yeah.
Well, now you're still voting, but whatever you voted already will be taken into account. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So on the user interface, yeah, we don't want to have a separate button at the bottom that put all the stuff in and then push this button. We wanted this to be a really fast interface. Tap, get right back to the event. So yeah, as you're tapping, then it's creating those new facts and sending them up to the replicator. Yeah, and then like if I go back and forth between 20,000, 30,000 for the same finalist, so here's a vote allocation of 20,000, and then we'll have another fact for this finalist, another fact vote allocation of 30,000 for that same finalist. And so because the only thing inside of that vote allocation is the amount and the finalist, then you're going to reuse these facts. So you'll basically end up with just one fact for each of these buttons in that type.
Okay. Yeah. It's only the vote fact that will be renewed every time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And also notice the vote fact is the only one that links back to the attendee. This one doesn't even link back to the attendee. So that means that everybody is going to be pointing back to this same set of 8 times 4 of 32 facts. And they're just going to say which allocations are the ones that I'm choosing.
Okay, so you only get a lot of vote facts, but the allocation facts are really very limited.
Yes.
It doesn't depend on the number of attendees.
Right. Yep. It's a flyweight.
Okay. That's a really clever model.
Uh-huh.
Like usual, if you make one. Okay.
Yeah. But then, as I said, I actually changed the shape of this part of the model because of the way that it was starting to work within the client-side code. Really, I decided that instead I would take all these allocations and make them a single property inside of Vote, and base everything on this index. So that took away that little clever flyweight thing that was going on, but that's okay. It ended up being easier for the code.
So how you have 6 indexes properties into the vote fact then?
Yes. So let's talk about how that ended up in. So if we go to app, we've got all the different apps that get deployed as part of this one package. So model is the shared model between an admin and attendee. So we've got this broken down into these different subparts of the model. So this CodeLaunch, that one is the event itself. All the CodeLaunch stuff. So let's jump straight down to the finalist. Yes. So right here, a finalist is a competitor at an event with a particular index. So the index will be 0 through 5. So when you set them up in the admin, you're setting them up in a specific order, and that keeps things nice and simple. We talked before about different ways that you could model reordering a list. So the way that that I chose for this one is that if you were to reorder the list, then you would create new finalist facts for those competitors at different indexes. And then that way you've got, if you move one up and everybody else shifts down, then basically you've changed you've created new finalist facts for all of them. And then how you lock them in is that you've got your round, which collects a whole bunch of finalists together and says, okay, those are the finalists for that round.
Yeah.
So then that index is what's used during the competition. So in the competition, I have to figure out what is going on here. Yeah, it's not compiling my stuff properly. Yeah, so at the actual event, so we've got our event state, so we can move the event state from holding, round 1 open closed, final open closed, champion announced. And similarly to the decision I made around the votes, I decided this would be based on the latest created rather than the mutable property pattern. Because mutable property for state changes, for a workflow, since this is a workflow where you can just jump back to a previous state, that would tend to create a long chain, and I didn't want those long chains. So then you've got your voting round, this I actually changed from the original model as well. So the original model had the voting round capture a set of finalists, but now since I've got those fixed indexes, the first round is all 6 of them. So take all finalists, take the latest ones, 0 through 5. Those are your finalists. Mm-hmm. Then vote allocation for a particular attendee at the event in a particular round. Here is the allocation string. So this is a JSON encoded array of numbers. So it's just, let's take all the vote allocations, 0 through 5, put them into that array, and JSON encode them. The reason that it's JSON encoded is that if you just put an array into the fact, arrays are interpreted as arrays of predecessors. And then it would say, hey, wait a minute, this array contains numbers, not links to other facts.
Predecessors.
Yeah. So it gets confused.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our vote allocation, and we just have those by the created date. And that is, so I'm surprised to get to the bottom of the model here, because I'm expecting to see the lock-in stuff. So maybe the lock-in stuff isn't even on the main branch. That could be it. I might have been just working on a different branch and not even merged it yet, which would explain why it's not on the website. But there are then further facts that go into locking in a certain set of winners. What the totals were. And so now you can you can push those results out to the attendees.
So will there be any logging to external systems of the results?
At this point, it's all kept within the replicator. But in order to extract this information, basically, we would create another client that runs the specification, pulls that information, and writes it to a log.
Mm.
So, yeah, that excuse me. That definitely will be a part of the post-event activities. So we'll also want to gather all the user information. So who was there, name, email, address. So yeah, we haven't yet written the code that's going to extract that information, but it's basically another consumer of the same model.
That's nice. This model.
Yep. Yep. So you just bring this model into different applications, and then you can start integrating things. So let's talk about the attendee application. So we've got the let's go to the allocation page. I actually have two different variations of the allocation page. One that does not allow you to use your thumb to scroll horizontally, and one that uses the scroll snap CSS rule. And so yeah, I deployed both of these so that I could try them both out on my phone and see which one tended to work better. I still haven't quite decided which one I'm going to stick with. The scroll snap one sometimes confuses horizontal with vertical scrolling. So you're trying to scroll up and then it switches to another tab. And when it does that, it can be really annoying. But then again, with the no horizontal scroll and everything just locked to vertical scrolling, it's really easy to vertical scroll, but then you have to go up and hit the tab, which isn't quite as nice and smooth an experience. But both of them use this view model, and this is the real exciting part. So this custom hook creates this vote allocation view model, and we've got a couple of specifications in here. So we want to get the finalists, and we want to get the vote allocations. So in order to get the finalists, that's right up here. We want to grab the finalists for the event, and then for each finalist, go up and grab the competitor. Now, I think this is new syntax for the stream. I don't think I've talked about this syntax before. The old syntax was basically, instead of just having the facts in here, you also had a fact repository. So it would have been like this. So you've got the event and then this fact repository. And now in here, you could say things like facts dot of type, and so you say like this is the facts of type finalist, and then it's not where, but it's dot join, and then you have your lambda that says from the finalist, how do I get back up to one of these things like the event? So let me comment this out so it doesn't get too confused. So finalist f dot competitor dot, or no, it's not up the competitor path. It is up the, yeah, right here, event. And then once you've got that, you can do a dot select mini, and now you want yeah, so that's how you join the finalists back to the event, and now you can select mini starting from that finalist and do a, why can I not type? Facts dot of type, and we want to get the competitor. There's the competitor. Yeah, let me turn you off for a little bit. You're predicting a whole bunch of things that are wrong. And so then here we want to join from the competitor back to the finalist. So it's the competitor themselves, and then, oh, that's right, I did this wrong. Yeah, joining that back to the event fact here. And now here you're joining the competitor back to the finalist competitor. Okay, so that's old syntax, and you can see there's a lot going on there, and it was really hard to communicate, really hard to learn, and so this is the new syntax for achieving the same thing. But the important part here is what part is the lambda and what part is the prior label. And so here you've got this lambda and you've got this prior label. So we're doing facts of type finalist, and so the lambda is going to get us up to some predecessor, some ancestor. I mean, it can go up any number of levels. And then once we get there, we reach either a previously named fact, like the event given here, or one of its predecessors. Like in this case, F was a previously named fact, but then competitor is one of its predecessors. And so since we are looking for the competitor, which is itself the predecessor, that's why we said right here from the competitor side, you don't go up any higher. This is a little bit easier if we look at the graph at the same time. So let me go back to this
model. That's indeed easier visually.
Yeah. Okay. So we are at an event. So we're starting here. This is the given, and we want to get the list of finalists and the competitor fact. So we want to go, down here and then up there. So that means we need to label the bottom. So we do this in order to get the facts of type finalists, to label that that fact here at the bottom. And then once we've got that label for it, now we're looking for facts of competitor. So we're trying to define another label within our specification that is now going up the competitor path. So how do we get to the competitor from the competitor? Well, we're already there. So yeah, it's just the identity. So no extra traversal there. how do we get to the competitor from the finalist? So that's f.competitor. Now on this side, it's the same basic idea, but you're going in a different direction. So we want to get to the finalist. We're at the event. So how do we get to the event from the finalist? And so that's the lambda. And then how do we get to the event from the event? Well, you're already there. So with this syntax, you had to walk the graph from two different directions and arrive at the same common ancestor. And one of those directions was a lambda because you don't yet have that fact, like you were trying to get to the finalist. And the other one is a variable because you already have a label for it.
Okay.
So from there, then it would go on to select. You've got the right now you have done the select many in order to get to the competitor. So now we're at the competitor, and we want to produce an object. So these are going to be all our results. So that object is going to include the finalist, which in this case I abbreviated as F. I can see down here I didn't abbreviate. So not abbreviating makes things easier to read. I should have done that. And then the competitor name, competitor name, and that is then going on to another set. So again, sticking with the old syntax, we've got facts of type competitor name, and then we do our initial join. Well, we need to have our parentheses. Then we do our initial join, and on one side is how do we get from the competitor name up to some common ancestor. And you know what? I've got my parentheses in the wrong place. So you can see this parenthesis closes out this select many, which means I don't have the finalist anymore. But if I do this, and I move the parenthesis down here, now I still have the finalist. And so this select is still grabbing the competitor because that's what I did this join on. But now I've got the finalist as well. There we go. So we've got that. So now with the competitor name, let's go back to our model. Yeah, we don't have the competitor name on here, but that would be pointing back up to the competitor. So from the competitor name, you've got a way to get back to the competitor. And then we want to that to be equal to this competitor that we are selecting right here. So once we've got those, we want to make sure that those are the ones where there does not exist a next where, well, yeah, I can't do any shorthand. Facts of type competitor name, and this is going to be next. And so here we want next dot why is that not doing that? Facts of type competitor name. Oh yeah, I forgot my join. Yeah, the old syntax was quite verbose. There we go. So now this is the names for that competitor, and we want where this competitor prior is CN. That's what we are looking for. Okay. So we are looking for, all right, somewhere back here. Oh, yeah, somewhere back here I switched to C# syntax. All right. So there's the TypeScript syntax. So facts of type competitor name, join back to the competitor, then...
Below there also.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, I have no idea what you're trying to type. So now we are saying where there do not exist any competitor names, where next prior is CN. Oh, I need to define that like this. Okay. There we go. There is the entire verbose syntax.
Mm-hmm.
So all that to say, this syntax is much cleaner. So let me comment that out and then show what this is all about. So here we want the finalists for the event. Well, that is all of this stuff up here. And then select many. Finalist or finalist competitor dot predecessor is the thing that matches the competitor that we're starting from. So basically, that replaces this select many. So we've got our finalist coming in. Here I called it F, there I called it finalist. But yeah, here I was saying I want facts of type competitor, and then I want you to join on, that competitor itself is equal to f.competitor. And I'm like, you know what? You're just picking the predecessor. That's what you were doing. And so I created this predecessor function that does all that. So now you don't have to think about one side is a lambda that it selects itself, and the other side is the predecessor. It's just like we've done the predecessor thing, and here it is. Just pick that predecessor. So now we've got the competitor. So we're down here. We're interested in the finalist. That's just shorthand because I didn't name it properly here. And then the competitor names, now we're just getting the current competitor name, which takes all of that. So much cleaner syntax. Now, of course, in order to use this syntax, I needed to do a couple of things. I needed to define this static function so I can get the finalists for an event, and needed to define this static function. But now you can see those static functions just do the one thing. So now we want the event successors. So we no longer need that fact repository, facts of type final list join. None of that. You're just saying, I want the event successors of type finalist, and this is how you get from that successor back up to the event. So much easier to reason about. So in this case, you are here at the event. You want the finalists. So how do you get from a finalist back up to the event? There it is. Yeah. And then for the other one, for competitor name.current, it's a little bit more complicated, but it's also using the successors function so that we don't have to reason through the join and the two sides. So I just say I'm looking for competitor names, and this is how you get from a competitor name back to the competitor that we're starting with. And then, where there does not exist a successor of type competitor name that we call next. And this is how you'll get back to that name. It'll be next prior. So by doing this, you get to write specifications that actually make sense.
Yeah, but still, to come up with that myself, it's not for today yet.
Mm-hmm. That is still a challenge, yes.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a shorter walk than this, and so I have published a new set of guidance on Janaga.com. There's now an equivalent set on Janaga.net, so starting to get this lined up. But now we've got our description of, this is what the code looks like. This is what the facts look like. And so now here we're doing just gradually getting you acclimated to the specification syntax. So model given a user, match that user successor projects, and this is how you get back from the project to that creator, that user. And then build onto the patterns. So here's our project deleted fact. Add that to the model. And then now we added this not exists. So now we're going from that project to the successors of type project deleted. And this is how you get from deleted back to the project. So where not exists, that means that it's going to remove the one that we just deleted by doing this. So we just deleted project A.
Yeah.
And then, of course, here's the restore pattern. Let's add that restore fact. Let's restore. And now this nested not exists, and it's restored. So gradually building you up to where you can start to write specifications. But then once we get, and then go through mutable properties and show, okay, we've changed the mutable property, we have concurrent edits, and then we have resolved that concurrent edit. But then, now before we get too complicated, let's encapsulate those specifications. And so this is where we create those static specification functions. That you just say, here I'm looking for the product name of, or project name of project. So looking for the successor project names where there does not exist a successor next. And then do the same thing for projects by this user. And so here we've got our delete restore pattern. And now this is where we get to put them together. So projects by this user, and then we select the project ID and the project name of that project. And here go one step further and select just the value from that. So we don't have the facts, we just have the strings. And that's what you end up with.
Okay.
So that's I think going to be a little bit easier of a walk up to something that's useful, and by the time you get to putting projections together, I've already showed you how to encapsulate things, so you don't have this big mess right here.
That might be helpful.
Yeah. But then, yeah, as you can see, we use those exact same patterns to to
Mm.
build this a real application. Um, and yeah, this one here is just, it's all part of this vote allocation of attendee. So we just want the successor vote allocations. Um, so it's oops, it's not a terrible thing to try to read.
One of the things I see is that it's easy if you have, or it's easier if you have the model
Mm-hmm.
next to you.
Yes, yeah, that is true.
Uh, because I all the time need to go back to the model in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I find if I'm for DWS, I'm working on specifications. I keep a printout of the model next to me because otherwise it's
Yeah,
I lose myself.
yep, that is true. And you want just the part of the model that you're actually working on,
Mm.
not the full things. Let me focus over here.
Yeah.
Like here, I don't have the competitor name, but it would be good to have that as part of the model here. And then here I'm looking at vote allocations, so I would want to have that part visible when I'm doing that. So yeah, these are all things that are going to be going into Factual Studio. So you'll have that right here inside of Visual Studio, which should um, let me create little interactive tools that will help you to build these little specification functions. So yeah, you should be able to click, click, click and build this.
Mm.
Then say, okay, put that into this function, and now I can reuse it. So maybe we'll even get to the point where you don't have to even know how to type this stuff. But of course, I do want it to be readable so you understand how to read it. And LLMs actually do play a big part of that as well. I am going to have to show off this little guy, the Janaga Modeler. This is a room mode that that can update Janaga models and write specifications.
Mm.
So far in this case, I have given it very specific instructions. It's kind of hard to read in this form. Well, let's pop over here. It's in .ru modes. So here's my custom room mode. And yeah, it's really not any easier to read in this form either. Oh well. But yeah, I've got this guidance document right here. So the Janaga Developer's Guide. So this is available to the LLM in order to kind of guide its decision-making process. This is how you write. This is how you write specifications. This is how you create new facts. How you add them to the model. So this, right now for this project, it's here in this file. As part of Factual Studio, I'm going to try to figure out what's the best way of packaging this guidance and having it available to your application, so you can just use it. Then you'd be able to, access a room mode or an MCP or something like that to maybe even a custom model. I'm not sure to be able to do this work just from the description.
Yeah.
But
It would be nice.
yeah.
It would be nice if these specifications could could be written for us.
Yep.
Silence. That was not a customer. That was publicity, I think.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
But
No,
yep.
it would be. I think we still need to understand the syntax for the specifications
Mm-hmm.
because you need to find problems. But if they could be suggested, that would be a already like today. Copilot is already not bad.
Yep.
Sometimes in helping a little bit.
Yep. That is true. And the easier we make it for the humans, the easier we'll make it for the machines as well. Make this easier for a person to read, and the LLM is going to find an easier time. And then whatever tool I give to a person to be able to click, 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 and create a specification, I want that same tool available as an MCP, so that the LLM can inspect the model. It wouldn't be visual, but it would be a graph that it would be very simple for it to look at, and then say, I want to label this one, this one, and this one, add this condition, and have the MCP turn that intent into actual code. Because that part is deterministic. Let all the deterministic stuff still be regular code.
Mm-hmm.
All the interpretation, let that be what the LLM does.
Yeah, that looks promising for the future.
Yep. Yeah, so now I just need to fix a few bugs and then, then show it to the team.
So I will be the last one suffering with specifications.
Yes, yeah.
The next generation of users, they will.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Very good.
Good. So
Well,
this weekend you will fix all the bugs.
yes. Yep. Yeah. It's going to be a seamless experience for the production team, and then next week we will be back. Perhaps we can go over some DWS stuff next week.
I should be able to make some time for it. No, but I find the way you implemented it, like that, the user interface in the model was, it looks, the application looks really, really easy, and it's a very fluid experience.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The process of writing this an application with this is it just flows. Yeah, you don't have to stop and say, okay, now I'm going to switch to the server side and I'm going to write an API and I'm going to. It's like, nope, just keep on going. Oh, I need a new fact type. Let's create that new fact type. Let's start using it in specifications. We didn't get into the security rules, but that also is part of that flow. It's like, okay, now that I've got this, this user should be able to create that fact. That user should be able to run that specification, and then you just express those in other parts of the system. Run a tool to write that specification file and have the replicator read it. So yeah, maybe next week we can go through the authorization and distribution rules and see how that is all implemented.
Okay, Michael. Then we see each other next Thursday.
Indeed.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. See you Thursday.
All right. See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.